Exactly.
Thank you so much, man. Take it away.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Francisco. I am biologist from Argentina, and the study that will present you is entitled "When Birds Meet Recreational Fishers: Understanding Interactions in a Protected Coastal Area of Argentina." And this is a part of a bigger project that analyzed the interaction between birds and recreational fishers from a socio-ecological framework. So usually when I give a talk about recreational fishers, I'm start with the definition of the recreational fisheries. But now, due to all of you know what it is, I I will start talking about the marine recreational fishing in Argentina. Marine recreational fishing in Argentina is a very popular activity practiced by all people age. It is practiced along the entire coastline. Participation is estimated at 4 million people, both freshwater and marine ecosystems. This activity began approximately 100 years ago and targets around 60 fish species. And there are no available estimates of the total ton of fish captured. As we know, recreational fishing provides benefits, but also impacts. Maybe the more obvious and more studied impacts are those involved the target species. However, there are other level ecosystem impacts. I will focus in two of these. The first is the fishing debris. Fishing debris lost, abandoned, or improperly discarded during land or boat-based recreational fishing activities. And the more common items that we can find are hooks, line, sinkers, whiz, and other fishing gear. But why fishing debris? Because one of the consequences occurs when when birds approach to fishers in search for food, like discards or bait, and birds become associated with anglers, which increase the risk of negative interaction with fishing gear. And these interactions occur when anglers and birds overlap in space and time, and they can cause injuries, laceration, hook ingestions, entanglement, even the death of the individuals. We can see a picture, some of this. And in the Buenos Aires province, in Argentina, on the coast, is located the Mar Chiquita Coastal Lagoon. This site is recognized under multiple conservation frameworks. Is distinctive the site's distinctive geography support high levels of biodiversity, and one of the main activities is the recreational fishing. And this area is also notable for its biodiversity, serving as a critical habitat. So, the spatial overlap between high-intensity recreational fishing and bird use of the area creates conditions that may lead to interactions with potential ecological consequences. And however, no research has specifically described behavioral dynamics underlying this interaction. So, this study aims to address the four questions. First is, what is the spatio-temporal overlap between birds and fishers in the study area? Which bird species interact, and how frequently do these interactions occur? How do fisher and bird interact? And what factors trigger these interactions? So, to answer that, we designed two samplings in the mouth of the lagoon in three sites. The site one is fisher fish from the beach, mainly targeted. This is the site one, mainly targeting Brazilian flounder, using the spinning technique with silversat as bait. And this site has the characteristic that is only accessible by boat. So usually it's used only by fishers. The site 2 is quite similar to site 1, but the accessibility is more easy, so usually it's used by both recreational fishers and other coastal users. And the site 3 is characterized for a presence of a concrete brick water and rocks on a beaching face the open sea. And fisher catch mainly variado costero. Variado costero is a group of 30 species. Well, and the we designed two types of samplings to do this. The two samplings were carried out simultaneously, and to analyze the overlap between fishes and birds, we carry out 100 scan samplings during 70 days in 2 years, in summer and winter, and on weekends and weekdays. And we register the total bird abundance by species, the number of fishings, the number of fishing rods, and the number of coastal users. And to analyze more deeper the interactions, we carry out 200 behavioral observations in areas measuring 50 per 30 meters, marked with the stakes, and where at least one active shore fisher was present. And each observation lasted 30 minutes. Before the observation, we register the day, the hour, the site, the birds associated with the species, the number of fishers and rods, and the number of coastal users. And during the observation, we register the arrival or departure of a fisher, offering bait to the birds, associations of a bird, and the type of interaction. And the type of interaction was classified in two types. Non-contact interactions, when birds interact with anglers without contact the gear or the fishers, and like walking, standing, or flying around the anglers, and contact interactions when birds contact with the fishers or their belongings, like picking or stealing bait. And this is a picture of an example of an observation. This is site 2. We have here 4 rods full associated, 2 fishing rods, and 1 fisher. And what did we find? Well, we registered 1,600 of fishers and around 3,500 of other users. We found a higher proportion of fishers in summer and in the site 3. But the main difference between seasons were in the site 1. And in relation to coastal users, the higher numbers were in summer too, but in site 2. And both of the variables were higher in weekends in relation to weekdays. In relation to the birds that overlap with anglers in space, we registered around 14,000 of birds from 26 species, 5 orders, and 12 families. And this is the species more abundant in the study area. And in relation to interactions, we registered 500 birds associated with anglers, and from the 26 species that we registered, only 6 species interact with anglers. We registered around 12 non-contact interactions per hour and 1.5 contact interactions per hour. And from the 6 species that interact, the 4 that interact more, the hooded gulls include 2 species. Among the non-contact interactions, flying were the principal behavior, and among contact interaction, stealing bite was the principal behavior. Well, when we analyze what factors affect these 3 variables with associated non-contact and contact interactions, we found that in winter, the 3 variables were higher in the site 1, and when the bite offer increased. And in relation to interactions, we found that increased when the number of fishers increased too. So, what is important of this study? Well, the results of this study are particularly valuable given the scarce literature addressing interaction between birds and recreational fishing. In Argentina, and in many parts of the world, management efforts related to recreational fishing remain limited and are typically focused on target fish species, often overlooking broader ecosystem level impacts. And the findings provide a foundation for the development of target management measures to mitigate the negative impact of the interactions. Well, Finally, I want to say thanks to the organizing committee for giving me the opportunity to stay here. Coming from Argentina, this should not be possible if your support. Thank you very much. This is my email. This is the social media of our group in Argentina, and this is the QR for the paper if you want to scan. Thank you very much.